Brian, I know you're taking a closer look at what Americans have actually experienced under the Biden administration.
Yeah, Lydia. So it's interesting. Biden said last night he inherited an economy on the brink. But that's not what I remember. So I did a little digging. We know how it's going right now, but how did things really start? Well, let's start with breakfast, okay? My favorite is steak and eggs. But look at what happened under Biden. Steak up nearly 30%, and worse for eggs, up a whopping 71%. I think I like my pre-Biden breakfast just a little bit more. Or how about getting around? Biden inherited gas at $2.42. He's given us a 37% increase. Talk about powering your home. Your prices there in electricity.
That increase in gas is insane when you look at it. When he puts it side by side like that, that increase in gas prices is absolutely insane. He inherited gas at $2.42 a gallon. We are currently paying upwards of $3.32 per gallon, depending on the day, depending on the week. That is absolutely insane.
And increase. Talk about powering your home. Your prices there in electricity have gone up 27%. Now, cheaper electricity pre-Biden doesn't sound like being on the brink to me. And this may be the worst. Monthly mortgage payments on $400,000 homes, up 59%.
Look at that. Monthly mortgage payment on a $400,000 home went up from $1,349 to $2,148. Jesus Christ. Just in a 3-year span. This is why when I was coming up in school, and when it came time for people to vote, and when I actually came of age to vote, you know what the older people used to tell me? The older people used to tell me, oh, just vote Democratic. It doesn't matter. Just vote Democratic. Because I used to express, well, because people would ask me, oh, are you going to vote? Are you going to vote? Are you going to vote? And at the time, I was so young, I was like, I don't know what I'm voting for. I don't know who to vote for. And so what the older people would tell me was, they would say, oh, just vote Democratic. Just vote Democratic, bro. Just grab it, just go in there, get your ballot, and just scratch in, just fill in the Democratic vote for whoever's in there. Didn't matter who was in there. It didn't matter the person. It didn't matter what their lifestyle was, what their background was, what their history was, what their education was. It didn't matter what their goals were. It didn't matter what they had accomplished in their life. None of that mattered. They just wanted me to vote Democratic. Vote Democratic across the board. And it's crazy how much my views on the political world has changed from that time. Because Biden has arguably done one of the most terrible jobs for our economy during his stint. And people wonder why it is that some people want to see Trump back in office. Well, look at the job and look at the hit that our economy has taken. See, we get so blinded by the profile of Democratic and Republic. We get blinded by that. It's not that way anymore. These are not the days of old, okay? It's not black and white. You have to look at the finer details. We get so caught up in the Democratic versus Republic debate that we don't even take time out to see what is actually happening under these people's reign. Up 59.2% for housing. This is an expense that you cannot avoid. Rent is up. Doesn't matter if you're owning or renting, it's up. We got a bill, we got a notice a couple weeks ago saying that our mortgage is going up. Listen, it doesn't matter what you do, renting, owning, it don't matter. Everything is up. Everything is up. And again, this is an expense that you cannot avoid. You cannot avoid paying your house note. You cannot avoid paying your monthly rent. You gotta have somewhere to live, right? Gotta have somewhere to put your badass kids, right? So this is unavoidable. So it's not like we can say, oh, well, I'm done. I'm not paying it no more. I'm just gonna live in a shoebox. It's not gonna happen. What's gonna happen is you're gonna see the prices, you're gonna bitch and complain about it, and then you're gonna go pay that because you don't have a choice. So we have to start taking a closer look at who's in office and what they're doing. What about the job that they've done? 59% on housing is insane. Absolutely insane. And you're already talking about an economy that is already stressed financially. You're already talking about an economy where people do not have $1,000 in a savings account to put aside for any type of disruptions or anything, emergency expenses that happens in their life. You're already talking about a financial economy that is on the brink. We're not talking about, I know y'all see the people out here making six figures and everybody's an RNA, everybody's making six figures. Listen, that is not the reality. The reality is Americans are struggling. And so you take that, a struggling American population, and you put on, and you tax their ass 59% in housing, which is, again, a cost that they cannot omit from their budget. You got to pay that. And y'all wonder why. Y'all wonder why the next election is looking spotty. Y'all wonder why people are looking at Trump like he might be the savior. Listen, I understand politics is about who you like and who you don't like and all that shit. But we got to start looking at what these people are actually doing for you.
3% mortgage rates to over 7%. Now, of course, you know Biden's solution for all of this is more government spending. And he had a message for the rich last night. Listen.
I'm a capitalist. You want to make a million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes.
Well, joining us now is billionaire supermarket mogul John Catsimatidis. And John, I think the president was talking directly to you last night in that comment. He wants you to pay your fair share. Are you not paying your fair share right now?
Well, I think we're paying a lot of taxes, and I think it comes to spending. You know, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And since he took office, interest rates went sky high. The price of food went sky high. The price of gasoline went sky high. You know, when he was running for office against President Trump, he says, I'm going to work for the poor and the middle class. Well, guess what? He made the poor people poorer. He made the middle class poorer. I mean, when he raised the price of gasoline, he cut the pipeline out and made the oil companies the enemy of the people. He moved $1 trillion worth of wealth from North America to where? To Russia, and to the OPEC nations, to China. And you know what money Russia used? You know, Russia does 10 million barrels a day. They were making $1 billion a day on the increased price of the oil they're getting. And guess what? They use that money to spend it on the Ukraine. Iran, 400,000 barrels a day they were producing under President Trump.
Right.
They let them produce 4 million barrels at $100 a barrel where it went to. They made them zillionaires, and that funded all the Hamas, the Houthis, everybody.
Yep.
Right.
And don't forget, it's an election year. And he needs the price of interest rates down. He needs the price of gasoline down. Well, guess what? His friends overseas are not cooperating.
Right.
So you know what they did? When the price of oil about 2 months ago, when we were here, was down to $68 and it headed down, they started the Red Sea War.
Right.
And what happens? Everybody has to go all the way around Africa. The price of food went up. The price of oil went up $10 a barrel. And Guess
And
what?
now here we are. And I know you've got your eye on all of that because you are, after all, the CEO and chairman of United Refining. But you're also, run a chain of very successful grocery stores. And I'm curious to know what you think about the plan to now raise the corporate income tax. Because Biden, like you said, paying fair share, not just talking about everyday individual people and billionaires like yourself, but he wants to take the corporate tax from 21% to 28%. How is that going to impact business?
You know
and
what's
how
going
is
to
that
happen?
going to impact jobs?
You know what's going to happen? All these big companies, their earnings per share, every quarter they have to represent. If they have to pay more taxes, and the earnings per share is after taxes, guess what they're going to do? They're going to raise the price of the product to the consumer.
Right. Exactly.
So at the end of the day, the consumer pays. In a way, his speech is racism. Why? Because he's addressing the people that don't understand the economy like that. It is racism. Because if you take people that don't understand, are not college graduates, not high school graduates, and you say that we're going to tax the rich, and we're going to tax the corporations, it's going to be reflected the same way it's going on in New York about congestion pricing.
Yeah.
Hey, when they raise the prices of the tolls, if the truck going to my stores, the Gristini stores, is going to pay
Just went
more,
up.
it's going to go back to the consumer.
I want to talk about the consumer since you're hitting on it. We always say on this program, it's the economy, stupid, except it's not. It's the price level, stupid, right? Because as Brian was mentioning, it's the price of all of these things. Regardless of how the economy looks on a good jobs day, it's what people are paying at home that they are really feeling that. Is the election year about the price level, stupid?
I think the election year is about, am I better off today than I was 4 years ago?
Right.
And the poor people are poorer, the middle class is suffering more, and look, the migrant crisis. My God, you know what I said? I was interviewed by the Daily Beast last night, and they said, you want to pay more? I said, I'll pay more if the money is well spent. I'll pay more if they take care of the American poor. I'll pay more if they take care of the veterans on the streets.
But it's all
I'm not going to pay more
Right.
so they can fly in people. They can fly in people from Africa, fly in people from Central America, and fly in people from South America. Enough is enough. The American taxpayer is fed up, and we have to put our foot down.
That's a great way to leave it.
I'm so glad he touched on the migrant crisis because it's been a topic that I've somewhat avoided on this channel. Not because I'm in fear of getting any backlash, but just because I like to sit on the sidelines and get a better understanding of what it is that I'm going to speak on before I actually speak on it. But he touched on the migrant crisis that's happening in New York and that's happening in various different states. And Biden opened up the floodgates and said, all right, all you migrants that want to come over here, we'll give you safe harbor. Well, at one point in time, these migrants were taking up residence in police stations. Could you imagine the type of chaos that ensues when you have hundreds of people flooding around a police station and there still needs to be business conducted. There still needs to be cases that are being worked on. There still needs to be active duty happening at the police station. And now you got migrants coming in, taking up cells. You got migrants coming in, taking up space. You got migrants coming in, causing chaos on the streets. It is a absolute disaster. And he touched on it. He's basically saying, listen, I'll pay more if the money is going to where it needs to go for the American public, for the American taxpayer. And he's also saying that, look, Biden is talking about taxing the rich. You know who's going to eat that tax? We are, the consumer. Because all the rich are going to do is say, all right, you want to raise our taxes? That's fine. That's fine. That just means that we have to raise the prices of all the products and all of the things that we're giving to the taxpayer. All of the things that we're providing to the average consumer. Those costs are going to go up as well. If we got to pay more, guess what? Y'all got to pay more. And I don't understand for the life of me how someone who is the president of this goddamn country cannot see that. I don't. It would be different if he came out and said that, and then he also proposed some type of law to keep these companies from raising prices. But because he can't do that, because that's against the law, because you can't do that, right? Because you can't institute some type of law to that requires a company to keep their prices the same. Your hands are tied. So now you got to come out and say something. You got to seem like you're addressing the situation when you're in factuality, you're making it worse. And you heard him say it. This is an election year for Biden. This is an election year. So now he's got to tighten up his campaign. He's got to make it look like he's getting everything situated and he's tightening up the economy. But honestly, we are worse off than we were 4 years ago. We are worse off than we were in 2019. Financially. As an economy, we are worse off. And I think it's only going to get worse. You're looking at an all-time high in housing prices. You're looking at an all-time high in listen, the vehicle, my goodness, the automation market, the vehicle market, the used car, it doesn't matter if you're trying to get a used car or buy new off the lot. The prices are they're beyond egregious. They're insulting. They're insulting. The average car note has gone up from where it was to $400 and $500 a month for a new car to $700, $800. Some of y'all are out here paying $1,000 a month for these new cars. We are absolutely in a dire state, and we are absolutely worse off than we were 4 years ago. Absolutely, no question about it. So I challenge y'all that if you are one of those type of people that say, "Oh, I don't like Trump," it's not about you liking Trump. It's about what's best for business. It's about what's best for your household. It's about what's best for your pockets. That's what I'm interested in these days. I don't care about all of the extra stuff. I don't care about the one-liners. I don't care about the little tidbits and the stuff that makes media headlines and makes shade room and stuff. I don't care about that. I care about the stuff that's going to impact my family and our future generations. And because these kids are the kids that we have are the ones that got to come behind us and clean up this mess that we've made, this shithole that we've dug ourselves in. I'll see y'all in the next video.